I'm so happy to be here today. It's always a pleasure to have the opportunity to speak to people, especially about what I have been through and my journey in life. Basically, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say my journey as a creative though. I would say my journey in life because I've had to deal with so many different aspects of being who I am. My name, my real name is Badamosi Adefemi. Um, but people call me Fola David because I started calling myself Fola David and everybody joined me. I don't know why, but that's what happened. I started calling myself Fola David, especially when I started drawing professionally. I started drawing professionally in 200 level medical school. And I would always name my drawings Fola David. And then, with the coming of social media, you had to have your handles. And so the handle Fola David just stuck, and that's how the whole thing began. So the most important thing for me here that I've noticed throughout my life is how did I deal with fear? Being able to do multiple things and having the opportunity to do so means you have to deal with that fear of the unknown across multiple sectors. When I was a child, I went to a primary school around after Yonopaja. I don't know if anybody knows Yonopaja here. And I used to be the best student, first in the class. I was literally the best student in the whole school because I would represent my school and, in debates and quizzes with, I was in primary 3, primary 4, I would, be against primary 6, primary 5. I also wrote my, common entrance into secondary school from primary 4. And this is one of the reasons why I lost a lot of connection with people from my primary school because I jumped, basically. But there was a day when I was going home. I was not feeling too well. It was close to exams. And my mom she held me, and I was too weak to walk because I was not feeling too fine. And then I asked her that we're having exams soon and I'm not feeling too well, that I hope I don't fail the exams because I've always had this first streak. And she told me that I shouldn't be afraid of that I shouldn't worry about that. Because of the few days that I'm going to stay away, is that why you're afraid? And then I let it go. Yes, I still came first, did my common entrance, came to secondary school and went through school and all that. The next time that I would hear that phrase was not too long ago. I was invited to Abuja to do a painting for the president. And we had a plan. This is what you're supposed to do. I said, fine, that's okay. I went there thinking I was going to do just that. And then things happened and the plan shifted and it became a more complicated plan. And when I was told this is what you're going to do now, I said, no, I'm not doing it. And people had called me about it. I said, I'm not doing it. I don't think it's possible, because they wanted me to do a painting of the entire hall while the event was going on. I'd never done that before. And I was in the hotel, I packed my bags, I was going to the airport. Let me go back to Lagos. And someone called me, a friend of mine working with the president called me. And he said, oh, they told you to paint the entire crowd. Is that why you're afraid? And then when he said, is that why you're afraid? I always say this thing, nobody associates me with fear. Nobody associates me with fear because I feel like I have done so much against all odds for me or for anybody to think that I'm afraid of something. And the moment he said, "Oh, is that why you're afraid?" something in my entire head and body just shifted, and I didn't even think about it. I just said, no, I'm doing it. And then I went ahead, I did it, and it was done. And then I started understanding the power of what is on the other side of fear. Sometimes, before you can achieve something, you literally have to go through this invisible barrier of fear, where there can only be greatness and success on the other side. But because of that invisible barrier, you can't see it. And you feel like you're not capable, you feel like you're not going to be able to achieve what you're thinking about. And this happens almost every time. And I think you have to see it as a superpower. You have to see it as when the fear comes, defeating that is very important. No matter how great the fear might be. And then my world record came up. Bear in mind, I've been working on this record for 10 years now because I started in 2015. In 2015, I had applied and, Guinness World Records sent me a message and said I should go ahead and do it. And, I drafted a budget, blah, blah, blah. It was a lot of money and I couldn't raise the money. After 1 year, I got a message from the Guinness World Records, "Oh, your application has been withdrawn." I didn't know they would give you for only 1 year. After 1 year, if you don't do it, they take back the application. And I saw someone reapply. I just reapplied again. Another 1 year passed. I didn't do it. They took it back. I reapplied. So I reapplied for 9 years. I just kept reapplying. It got to a point where I knew I was not going to get the money. Where? How? There was a time because I started applying from 400 level medical students for medical school, and it started getting tougher. 600 level, then housemanship. Those periods where you're working, you don't have any time. What's the point in trying to break a world record when you're going to work 9 to 5, Monday to Monday? But I think it was just out of habit. I was just reapplying. Then one day I just ran into someone who decided he was going to sponsor. This was without me doing any form of pitching or lobbying or presentation or something. I was just having a small conversation, and he heard about the world record and said he was going to sponsor it. And so we decided to do it. This was in 2024. And it was pretty much easy because the setup, I traveled around the country to get the experience I needed in terms of drawing the cultures. We had the stadium, the setup and everything was easy because it was just imagination. We hadn't done all of this before, but because we could imagine, we could create what we wanted. And then it got to the evening, night time, and the entire board and everything had been prepared. And then I planned to start from the center of the board. And so I worked up, and I was right there at the center. And I think I stood there for about 5 to 10 minutes. And everybody was watching. I'm sure people thought I was, maybe, the artist is preparing himself, Me, I was afraid. So you see, the first 5-10 minutes when I stood there, I knew that because I'm drawing directly, so you can't erase, you make mistake, you made a mistake, so I hadn't thought about all of that. It was right there when I got there that I started, okay, you're here now, and once you start, it's permanent. And I was there for more than 5 minutes. And then a little voice in my head said, "Is that why you're afraid?" No, you can't do that. You can't associate me with fear. And so I just started, And most of the times, it really requires you to stop thinking and just go. And so I stopped thinking about everything that could go wrong and just started. Because the mind has a funny way of doing that thing. The amount of things that your mind can create that can go wrong is so much. And sometimes you find out that what you are scared of, your anxiety, it never really gets to that point. You would really, like, if you had the chance to sit down and think about how many bad things can happen, you would never stop. It would keep going and going. And sometimes it just requires you to stop thinking and just believe in yourself and just go. And you might be afraid, which is fine. But I will always tell people that you shouldn't let people see you afraid or associate you with fear. Call you that you're someone that can't move forward because of you're a weakling or because your mind would stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. And that was what made me, with my first stroke on the record. And from there, it was like no more fear. And I would tell you, the more you defeat fear and the more you achieve a lot of things, it becomes easier to do it as you go. And later on, you're just going to have this imagination about something you want to do, and you go ahead and do it. I'll tell you, it all starts with your mind. Yes, defeating fear is very important, but also, you see, the thing you want to start before the fear even gets there is also very important. So you must have that imagination, that dream to build up to the point where fear becomes important. That's why you will hear that if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming enough. Because what you start with needs to get to that point where fear becomes involved. And if fear is not involved yet, I don't think you've gotten to that point. And then, you get to the point where what you're dreaming, what you're thinking about is so big, fear becomes a factor because your mind is doing the work. And it is just a factor, it's just something that comes with that part of your mind where your dream also births the fear that comes with it. And it's up to you to go through that invisible wall, because at the other side is everything that you want, everything that you've dreamt about. And for me, that is the most important thing that has driven me. After the world record, I started an art academy. And, the fear also came back because we spent a lot of money getting it all set up. And all of a sudden, for like 2 or 3 months, nothing was happening. And, the fear would just be like, I told you. But you also need to know that in front of the fear, before the fear is the dream. And so if you find a problem that, okay, you're not passing through this, there's nothing wrong with changing that dream or changing that plan. And so the earlier plan we had for the academy, I just switched it. And now things have started moving. So the most important thing for me that I would say is this: dream big until it scares you, defeat the fear. Don't let anybody associate you with fear. Defeat the fear, never give up, because apart from going through that invisible wall to the other side, you can also go back, tweak what is behind, and push forward again. You will always make it as long as you can dream big and defeat your fears. And that is exactly how I became what I became. And people ask, why are you going to stop being a medical doctor, and focus on one of these two professions? And I said, I'm not, because there's really no fear anymore with that. I have clinics that I run. I have clinics that I work in. I have my academy. I still paint. I still draw. I still try to mentor a lot of people. I have exhibitions coming up. As much as possible, I am operating at the highest level I can. in every single profession I find myself in or that I am in right now. And that is because the fear is almost non-existent, because when it comes, I just go through that invisible wall. I just stop thinking and progress. And sometimes that's what you need to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So I would one thing that you said that really like you said something before the fear is the dream that we should not give up. But I want to ask, I don't know if it is related to your story per se, but I would love to ask your name, Dr. Fola David, because I don't think it's actually, from what you said, you just started calling yourself that name and every other person followed. So is it something that, will I say, motivates you as a person, or can you just tell us like what informed the name?
Okay.
Per se?
It's a long story. So David is my official name now. I wasn't born David. I was to attend a Catholic secondary school, and I think one of the requirements for the Catholic school was to have a Christian name, and I didn't have one. And so I picked David, and then David became part of my official documents. I remember picking David. My elder brother was Victor, that he picked because we were going to the same secondary school. And we ended up in the same class because I jumped from primary 4, he jumped from primary 5. And then we had to pick names and all that. And then it became David, right? Fola wasn't really part of it at that time. Then we were playing around. I have two brothers, an elder brother and a younger brother. And I'm Adefemi. My elder brother is Adeyemi. My younger brother is Adewale. And so we have this, the same prefix with our names. And so we said, let us pick another name with the same prefix. And so I'm Folari, he picked Folabi, and then my younger brother was Afolayan. And this was just us talking in the sitting room, and we said, okay, that's our name now. And then on all our books, we started writing the name that we picked, not our real names anymore. But they didn't go on with it. I continued with it. And then I got to uni, and people would ask me what my name is. I'll tell them David. Always I'll say David. But because I remember the name we picked, I incorporated it and started saying Fola David. So that's how David came. That's how Fola came. And then when the time came for me to pick a name, I just matched them together. And I think it sounded kind of cool because I was thinking Femi David, Fola David, Femi. And I just picked Fola David. So does it inspire me? It's really good to have a cool name though. It's really good. But I think what inspires me the most is I have this urge. I have a brain that never stops thinking, in the sense that I always have ideas and projects that I'm working on, always. So the desire to impact the world as much as I can is really what fuels me and fuels most of my dreams, because I also have a foundation where we do free medical outreaches across the country. So it's really just the desire to impact every sphere I'm in. Everywhere I find myself, I always want to make a mark, and I think that's what pushes me to keep going.
Okay, thank you. I want to ask, you said you have a brain that never stops thinking. So how do you rest or relax, especially as a doctor, working in an art academy, also doing like commission work as well for people. So how do you like de-stress?
I forget things a lot, yeah? Yeah, I think it really matters because sometimes I could be busy from morning till night. And the moment I leave the place, I forget that it ever happened. And in a way, I I don't feel tired or stressed, and I'm always ready to go for the next thing. I'm not saying you should try it though, but I think that is something that I don't know how it works, but I really do forget that I've done something. I'm always feeling like there's something new, there's something new. Um, it never dawns on me to feel like I have arrived or I have accomplished or I think with what I have done now, let me rest a bit. I just really actually forget about it. And it's like, okay, what's next? So people sometimes ask me, how was your day yesterday? I can't remember. But the amount of things I remember are the things I'm supposed to do tomorrow, tonight, next. I have like this full plan for now to the next 5 years that is on my mind. And it's like jumping hurdles, and I can't remember what's behind me. I really cannot. And that really helps me to feel like I'm re energized. But I also love movies a lot. Movies and music a lot. So I love food too. So I could, eat my food, watch movies for at least that 1 hour, 2 hours, maybe just 1 hour. I forget about the future also. But immediately it's done, it comes back because there's always something in front of me to achieve. And I think that's what really puts the pressure on me. What is in front of me, more than what is behind me. So it's always, I'm ready to jump. And that is what I always feel. But if I want to stop feeling that way, good music and good movies really help me.
All right. So I have a question. Also related to you saying so just on the fact that as an artist, how do you deal with having multiple ideas coming out of something such a way that you don't in all comes up, you don't know which one to execute and you end up not doing anything at all. So how do you do in that situation? How do you play with that? How do you start executing those ideas and just believe they keep on coming and coming and coming and just stop the whole process?
So taking multiple ideas.
Write it down. I write down everything I think of, and it's too much. I write it down. And now with the age of social media, you see a lot of things online that I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. So I have a page I send it to every time. And once in a while, I just go through and I just say, okay, let's do this one. So yes, document it, write it down. If you have the space, why not start immediately? I'm the kind of person that if you tell me something now and I think it makes sense, I start it now. I'm not gonna waste time. I have an exhibition coming up in September. I had a movie done for the World Records. So when I was traveling around the country, I traveled around with my videographers. So we made a movie that we're gonna launch in September also. I have my own sunscreen product coming out in September. I wanna do an outreach also in September. Yeah, then I also want to launch like a coffee book in September. Yes. So I had these ideas maybe less than a month ago is when I came up with all the ideas, right? Within that month, I talked to my product designer. We designed the product for the sunscreen. I spoke to the formulators. I went to get my venues. I have spoken to event planners. I have spoken to PR team. I've spoken to some sponsors. It's like, just be going, do you understand? And in the middle of all of that, I still have a lot of things coming up because in August, from August 1 to the end of August, I'm doing a summer camp at the academy for 30 students. I don't even have the 30 students yet. I just thought about it. I said, okay, I like it. I want to have 30 students at the academy from the whole month of August during the summer break. So I decided to start a school tour. So I went to Chrisland, I went to BIS, I'm going to Green Springs, St. Saviour's. I'm just going to go through secondary schools and let them know what I'm doing so we can have the population in August. In June, I have trips that I've planned and all that. So if you do have ideas that keep coming, you should count it as a blessing. And then you just find a way to merge 6 at the same time. Okay, if I do this one thing, I can accomplish all 6 of this. If I do this one thing, I can do 10 at the same time. Or maybe if I just focus on this one, document it and pursue them. Don't even think that you shouldn't. Even if it takes you 10 years, don't hold on to those ideas. Go ahead and do it. And if you're talking about painting, maybe you have ideas of what you want to paint. That one is easy now. Go start it. Okay, you have one idea, paint it. You're not done. Another one's coming. Start it. Start it. Start everything, and find a way to unify it, because it's like that thing they say about using one stone to kill two birds. You can use one stone to kill seven birds if you really, really think about it.
I've always known you as a creative, so I was very, very surprised when I get to know you're also a medical doctor. So, medicine is very, very demanding, and also creative is also very, very demanding. So, I'm wondering, how do you juggle these things together? And like you mentioned, you have a lot of events line up June and September. So, I wonder how you like manage time, prioritize, how you cope with these stuffs. Yeah.
I always say that smart work is very important. But imagine having smart work and hard work together. Um, there is always a way to achieve something. It's always there. Sometimes it requires you getting out of bed and working. Sometimes it requires you staying in bed and thinking. It's always there. And I think a lot. So I always find a way to make sure that I achieve something without breaking too much of a sweat. Um, and, having the support is also very important. But you see, people support people that work hard. Let me use that word. I was employed in a clinic, and you understand what your employers want. You understand how to achieve excellence in a particular field you're in. Just go for it. You understand, and then you're going to see that people resonate with that and want to support you. So if you say, "Oh, you want to do this," because of your track record of achieving things, people tend to want to support a lot more. But it must start with you understanding that you need to be excellent. Even if you're doing one thing, be very good at it. Be very good at it. And then if you're doing two things, be very good at the two of them. Let people see your work and say, "No, when it comes to this person, done." When I was doing my house job, my consultants would talk to me like one-on-one. If they have a special patient, they'll call me and say, "No, let him see," because they know it will be done well. The documentation correct, feedback correct, examinations correct. Understand the process of where you are in and kill it. And one thing that happens is when you find yourself killing it, you find that you have more time. Because the more you do something and you're good at it, the more time you have, because you spend less time doing it. If you started painting and it would take you 5-6 months to do one painting, and the more you keep doing it, it starts to become 3 months. Then the more you do it, it becomes 1 month. The other 4 months that were there before, what are you going to do? So the more you kill what you're doing and you're very good at it all round in that area, you're going to find out that you're very good and very fast at it. And then you find out you can actually add one more thing. Okay, let me take up this one thing. And then you keep going and going and going. If you find yourself anywhere and you see any pockets of anything you can influence, anything you're seeing in your workplace, in your home, in your community, that you know that, okay, if I step in and do this, that place will be, done, taken care of. Why not take care of it? Someone is always watching. And that is what really pushes you and makes you mentally sound and stable to the point that you are taking up bigger things. And people are also like, "Yo, I'm going to be with this guy because I have seen him do things." So, smart work, hard work.
Thank you. Our next question. Yeah, thank you. Good for you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, my name is Adeni Alikoya. Number one, I'll say that I've been a big fan of Dr. Fola David right from day one. I wanted to meet him just, I think, few time like that, not too much, not too long. And then even before the record, even before the world record, and I've been, I fall in love with his drawing. That is number one thing I would say to him, because I feel like, wow, this is amazing. Because men watching his video, you get inspired and then you be like, how is this being done? And then I really want to ask, what is the inspiration behind the record, the world largest drawing, I would say? What drives you like that to be like, no, I'm going to achieve this and then I'm going to do it? Because I feel like it's really, really a big task to do, to execute. So I just want to know your inspiration behind it. Thank you.
All right. Sam, yes? Adekoya. Ademi. I know him from Lutz. This was we first met probably in 2015 or 2014, more than 10 years ago. Now you're asking about the inspiration behind. I used to draw a lot in school, and then I started speed painting. So I would paint live portraits on stage. I could do that upside down like 4 or 5 minutes. And then I would see the reaction. You know, when you paint in front of 500, 1,000, 2,000 people, you see the reaction. People go crazy. And I started thinking, I think I want to draw in front of more than 1,000, 2,000 people. I want to do something bigger. And that was when the idea came for me to research and find out what the largest drawing in the world is. Back then, it was still about 300 and something meters square. It wasn't that big. And so that's when I said, you know what, because I want to do something that more people can see, and because I want to test my abilities as an artist, I already had the idea and the imagination. Like I said, it's always a dream before the fear. And the dream also gives you the full picture of everything. You know exactly what you want to achieve, and so you know how to get there. So the inspiration was really just to do something that everybody gets to see. And back then, the world record wasn't as popular. So it wasn't about fame, it wasn't about popularity or anything. It was just about me going somewhere and people can watch me do something that will be interesting to everybody to see. Over the years, you know, I had my manager that would tell me that he's happy we didn't do it 10 years ago, because now the size got so much bigger. Like it was about 300, 400, and then it became over 1,000 with what I did. So it became a lot more interesting. It became a lot more difficult. It was so much more fun because of how big it had become. We had to use a stadium. So I'm happy it didn't happen then, but the inspiration remained the same. It was about doing something art-wise that everybody can see and enjoy and be happy about. And then, you know, also the impact, sending a message. The name of the drawing is Unity in Diversity. So it's a collection of all the cultures across the country, showing people that we are blessed by the cultural tapestry that is present in Nigeria, and how this should be a source of strength and not something that should cause division. Because if you look at the political scene, you have a lot of that coming up, especially when it comes to cultural differences. And I just wanted to pass something that would serve as a symbol of the unity that we should have as a country and the pride we should carry in ourselves, that I'm Yoruba or I'm Igbo or I'm Hausa, whatever you find yourself in, and then know that you are my brother, and there's this unity that must be there before anything else can happen. You can't have any economic stability or financial stability in the country if there's no unity. It won't happen. It might happen for a while and then crumble. So for me, that became an added inspiration to why I needed to do the largest drawing in the world.
Thank you so much. I think we'll just take 2 questions left. And his hand has anyone's hand.
Hi, David. My name is Kingsley.
Hello.
And thank you for, sharing this part of it with us, right? More importantly for me, I've always been intrigued about how you've been able to combine two different fields, two different very demanding fields, right? And you've been able to excel there, right? Uh, but I must say, what really like caught my attention while you were speaking is this part where you add the moment, that personal moment where you wanted to start drawing, and then it was just all you, yourself, right, and your thoughts. So, and of course, in other fields of life, right, every man would always get to that point where you want to ask yourself the question, you want to make that decision whether to move or to stay, or whatever the decision is, right? But for me, you made mention of something that I've read somewhere. You said those were the moments where you stop thinking and you just do, right? I feel it's so powerful that, I mean, I just want to hear more about that particular moment for you. I've read it somewhere that most of the times people that actually make a change, or people who create extraordinary things are people who don't think about every other things around. Like
Yeah.
you think like a child, basically, as if the problems that were there does not exist, right? How is that psychologically possible, to ignore the possible problems that you are very sure, because if you are being realistic too, that means you could see the existence of those problems. So, and I know that this applies to other phases of life. Maybe you are doing something entirely different in another industry, and then like just using your own situation as a point of reference. How do you do that? And I also need you to maybe shed more light on the medical side of things too. Like, is there a correlation with that? And how do we get to that point in our life and just make that decision? I know it's not something easy, so.
A very complicated question. I said that the dream is very important. The dream gives you an idea of what you want. So you have an idea to create the largest brand in the world because you want to send a message, you want to create impact. People will tell you, remember why you started. That's a good trick. When you get to the point where, and it's important to understand that you need to have that planning done, where you know that you're planned, you've thought about everything. You know, I want to get from point A to point B, and you've thought about how to get there, and you're sure about what you've done. Yes, you will still be scared, but because you know that, okay, this is why I started, and I am sure that if I take this bus now, and it moves to this place, I will get to point B. Then just take the bus, because you already designed how the bus is going to be. You know where it's going to be, how fast it's going to move, how the road is going to be. So you have to have planned the whole thing out. It's when you don't plan. They say those that don't plan to fail. If you planned already, then it's just the fear that's left, and just go through it. You have your dream, you have the plan, you know why you're doing it. When you get to that point and you know, okay, the planning is A1, the dream is A1, I know why I'm doing this, I know where I'm going to, let's go. You'll be very scared, but let's go. And people are watching you. People are there that will follow you, but you need to take that first step yourself. And the truth of the matter sometimes is when you take that first step, every other step becomes easy. Because there's this thing about, maybe you started, just finish. That one is also very powerful. I think it's a lot more powerful than fear. When you finally push through that fear and you start, you know that I must get to point B. So if you're on the way and the bus is going and something happens and it breaks down, oh yeah, we're going to fix it. Even if it takes us an hour, 2 hours, we're going to fix it. At that point, it's not even fear anymore. At that point, we've started, we're going to get there. So about the medical part, yes, I go to work. Well, I used to go to work a lot, every day. And then I come back and I'm drawing. So there was a time BBC did an interview. I was still working for the government then. And they called it doctor by day, artist by night, because obviously you have to go to work in the daytime and sometimes in the night. But the only time you can plan for yourself is from like 9 p.m. and stuff. So I would usually go to work, see my patients. Like I said, it's the diligence and the excellence in what you do that would give you more time. My patients never used to spend too much time in the hospital. I used to even help my colleagues see their patients because people thought I was doing magic or something. So if Fola talks to that person, the person will, you understand? So people were trying to look for me to help out with their other patient load because, they don't take too long. I wanted to speak pigeon. They take for, for my hand like that. So it was because of you know what you're doing. If you say you're a doctor, be a doctor, and embody that thing and the knowledge. I was talking to someone just the other day and I said, if I'm talking to a patient, the reason why people do what I want them to do is because I know everything about it. So if I'm talking to you, there's this confidence and there's this assurance that you will grab from me because I'm talking like, yo, this is my thing, So it's coming out. And then if I have to do something, I explain it to you and you see it's just happening. And that thing just makes people it makes people feel better. So I feel in every field you find yourself, be good at what you're doing. And everything will just fall in place. And then you can maybe add one or two other things. Just be good at it. You will see it's so easy. It's just the way it comes. And I tell people that God gives you the grace together with whatever gift or talent or wherever you find yourself. There's something that goes with that. All you need to do is be very good at it and you will see it working. Yeah.
Thank you. We'll just take one last question from Edward before we round up this session.
Oops, okay. Kind of. I think he has answered my question but I wanted to ask, like during the Guinness World Records stuff, while you were sharing your story, I think you mentioned not reaching out to any brand for sponsor or something like that. So I mean, what's this thing that they saw in you that say, this person is going to do it, it's not going to fall my hand, that kind of thing. And how did you feel that period?
Okay. This particular person that helped me with sponsorship, I had gone to a hotel, we had a show, so I was to do a speed painting. And so I did a speed painting of this person live on stage. And I think I don't think, it actually blew their mind. And, seeing his image come out upside down in such a short period of time, he came up to me and said he said, I will support you. That's what he said. I didn't know anything about the world record. I said, I will support you. He gave me his number. Then about a day or two later, he texted me and said, he's leaving the country. I should come over for drinks. So I went over for drinks. He had this envelope. He had put, dollars inside and gave it to me. It was just supposed to be drinks and money. And I go home. And then someone came over, and this is someone I've spoken to about the world record 10 years ago. And the person came, and I said, oh, hi, how are you now? I said, fine. And we shook hands, and we were laughing. And then the world record just came up from my mind. Oh, I told you about the world record some years ago. And then, the man heard it and said, oh, Fola, what's that? Well, so one other thing you need to understand. Me, I told the guy when we were drinking that I'm leaving this country. I had the visa interview like a few days. I told him I'm leaving. He said, Fola, Nigeria needs you. He's Indian. I said, Nigeria needs you. You shouldn't leave Nigeria. Nigeria needs people like you. Me, no, they hear anything. I was good. So it was that. And then when the person came and he heard the world record, he said, Fola, I want you to do this. Stay in Nigeria and do this world record. And I will do everything you need for you. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, Jakba. I said, and I decided to do the record. And doing it, made a lot of people see a different part of me. And I mean, people have been seeing me do a lot of things, but doing that kind of cemented my abilities in some people's minds, and it really elevated me in life. And I want to do something bigger than the world record, which is what we're planning in September. And next year we'll keep going, because I'm asking what can be bigger than the record, and it's up to me to make that happen. So that's why I didn't have to run after brands or anything. He just told me he was going to do it, and done. It's just whatever you find your hands doing, do it well. Kill it. That's what I always say. I always say two things. Let's kill it, let's do it. So if you're talking to me about something, I'm like, okay, let's go do it. Immediately. I don't even waste time. So, some of my team members always used to make jest of me and just say, let's do it. So, when you have an idea, just do it. When you find yourself doing something, kill it. Do it very well, even if some people just want, it's the amount of money you pay them, it's the amount of work they will do. Go up and above. Kill it. Kill it. Even if it takes you a long time, keep killing it. You will receive the rewards of that. And not for other people, but for yourself. You will get better. There's something about your personal development that I think is very important, more important than what you have on your CV. How good are you at doing things? And how good are you at doing things even when nobody is watching you? So whatever you find yourself doing, kill it. They say come for something, you don't have to do. I manage social media handles for my clinic. I manage a page. I create content. I post content. I reply DMs. I've been an MC before. There's nothing I don't do. I do because, I just want to keep killing it. So that's it. Once you do that, everything will fall in place. Believe in yourself also, because, it works hand in hand. If you have the ability to do something, then you must believe in yourself. It goes without saying, because if you have the ability to do something and you don't believe in yourself, you would never achieve it. So you need to believe in yourself. Whatever you see yourself doing, go out. The guys that said they were going to sponsor, you asked the question that how did they know that they should, trust in me? He had only seen me do a painting on stage, He had spoken to me just, not too long, and he just maybe felt like I need to support this young, bright, talented man. I did the record the last day. The board members of that company came to the stadium. Even some of them that were doing strong face before, everybody was laughing and happy. And that was the proudest moment for me, because the person, listen, from the moment he said, let's do it, to the moment I saw him at the world record, we'd only spoken like maybe 3 times. And this was a space of over 6 months, 6 to 7 months. I didn't even know it was coming. And they said, oh, Irish is coming. And he came, and there were plenty, all of them like that. And they came close, and people were, when people were happy, you will know. And they were proud, and, he was just happy. And to him, because you would say he took a chance. And, other people had to see that why is, this person taking, and everything came out the way it was supposed to come out. And that's what I'm saying. Whatever you find yourself doing, kill it. You don't know who is watching. Make yourself proud, make every other person happy and proud of you.
TrenduppX Conversations, TrenduppX Fola David.